Hey everybody. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through my collection of Xbox 360 games. Now, this is basically an extension of a previous video I made a month prior, which you can go check out, of my entire collection of Xbox 360 games. Now, in this video, I'm going to be covering the games that I actually missed out on in that video. I actually forgot to include these games. So this is basically a part 2 to that video. Um, So yeah, I have about about 11 games here that I neglected to show off. So I'm gonna show them off here, and so consider this basically part 2 of that video. So if you haven't watched that video, I suggest you go watch it unless you actually prefer to look at the games I have here. So the first game I have is Halo 3 ODST. This is basically a standalone expansion to Halo 3. I've actually have yet to play this. I've been going through the Halo games with my friends, and this is one game that we haven't played through yet together. Um, now, of course, I'm playing through the Master Chief Collection. This is the Xbox 360 version, which which I just so happen to have in my collection. So this is a bit of I had a hard time understanding at first what this was. So basically, after Halo 3's release in 2007, Bungie was tasked with uh, developing Halo 3 ODST, which is basically a standalone expansion, standalone story expansion to Halo 3, which takes place before the events of Halo 3, I believe. I can't remember. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know the story. But uh, in to compensate for the fact that the for the I guess relatively short amount of playtime, the runtime of this game is significantly shorter from what I heard. So what they did was they also included the multiplayer for Halo 3 as well. So that's basically what if you bought like the newest Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 3, but then they released. Actually, no. It's basically what if they made Modern Warfare 2 reboot and then actually went and made an expansion, uh, but then also included the multiplayer in it, and that's basically what's happened here. Now, obviously, this is not the original. The original. If you couldn't tell, this is not the original box art. I actually printed this offline, and this is not the original case, I believe. Yeah, it's because obviously it can only fit like one disc in here. So I got the campaign disc here and the multiplayer disc here. It is backwards compatible on an Xbox One and Series X. Unfortunately, the multiplayer has been shut down, so yeah, you can't even enjoy the multiplayer anymore. It's just the multiplayer disc is basically well, actually, no. You can probably do some LAN play, maybe. I don't know exactly, but campaign disc works for sure. But honestly, by this point, you're probably better off just playing the Master Chief Collection, anyways. So, yeah, this is just there if you're feeling nostalgic. Next up, this one I actually got fairly recently. Sonic Free Riders for the Xbox 360 Connect. Yeah, I actually tried it out. It's just as bad as people say it is. Like the controls are extremely unresponsive. I I couldn't even get past I couldn't even get through the tutorial because of just how unresponsive and awful the controls were. Like it does not it's definitely one of the worst Xbox 360, worst Sonic games and worst Kinect games ever. It really is that bad, sadly. With that said, I have it now in my collection just to check it off a list. I can't remember how much I got this for. I think it wasn't that much, thankfully, I guess. Was not willing to pay $20 for this, although I think I came close. I can't remember, but yeah, it's not a good game. Like the only reason I have it in my collection is just I even bought it, sorry, is just to say I own it because I am a pretty big Sonic fan. I collect a lot of Sonic games, at least for modern systems. Anyways, I'm not gonna go back and buy like say a Sega Genesis just to own Sonic, but um, in terms of getting as many of the Sonic games on modern platforms, yeah, I do. And uh, this is a game that I'd rather um, which I didn't have necessarily, but I kind of have to. But also, I really wish they just included traditional control scheme. If they'd done that, I think I would be a little bit more forgiving. There was actually someone who actually modded the game to actually include traditional controls, but unfortunately, it's too late. I hear the first games actually has a bit of a cult following, um, because it actually has some pretty interesting mechanics. The first game, unfortunately, has a bit of a high learning curve, sadly, because they throw a bunch of mechanics at you, but they don't do a good job teaching it to you. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring back Sonic Riders one day, but sadly, that's probably not going to happen. One last thing. This is actually the first time. This is the first time that Roger Craig Smith voices Sonic. The last time Jason Griffith voices Sonic was actually in Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing earlier that year. But with Sonic Free Riders, this was actually the first, not Sonic Colors, as some people like to say. Um, but yeah, you can definitely tell that Roger Craig Smith is trying to is a bit rough early on. He's definitely gotten a lot better with Sonic. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Next up, we have the Xbox 360 version of South Park: The Stick of Truth. It's the Signature Edition, which I believe comes with some DLC. I think I've already claimed that. Yeah, yeah, the DLC isn't. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Actually, no. This is not the original. Oh yeah, actually, it is the original cover art. The problem is, GameStop were selling it off in like this cheap sleeve. They got rid of the case for some reason, which I'm not a fan of. But yeah, I got this for about $5 when GameStop was like selling off all their inventory of Xbox 360 games. I'm pretty. I don't need to even own this because there is an Xbox One version. I'm pretty sure the Xbox One version also has like all the DLC or whatever extras. But I decided to get this anyways because at the time I wanted to have as many of the backwards compatible games on this available. And you know what? I hear this is actually a pretty good game. This is actually one of the better like um, tie-in games, which is and it's even it's even developed by Obsidian, which I did not know that. Yeah, this is made by the same guys who did the Outer Worlds. That's pretty neat. So yeah, that's South Park: The Stick of Truth. It's amazing that South Park is still even has gone on for so long. Like it's one of the longest running like television series like ever, which is an incredible achievement, especially when you look at where they started off. Next up, we have Enchanted Arms, another backwards compatible game. This one has a cover that I personally printed myself because I didn't have one. So yeah, it's just a game disc, and I think I don't know. For some of these games, what I did was I actually just took some cases and just plopped these games in. So yeah, it doesn't even fit correctly. It's another Ubisoft published game. I don't really have much to say, other than Ubisoft has kind of, I guess, been struggling these last little while. They haven't really published a game aside from maybe the new Prince of Persia game that has actually done amazingly well. Like they're getting by with the Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry games, but a lot of people feel that they're not doing anything too new with them. Next up, we have another backwards compatible title, and this one again, printed. I printed off the box art for it. it's this one's actually a THQ title, so I expect that they're gonna do a. I suspect they're probably going to do some sort of re-release of this game at some point. Um, THQ Nordic or Embracer Group have been going back and over the last decade, I should say, and re-releasing a lot of THQ titles. They actually went so far as to to release a remake of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. They did a Saints Row reboot, which wasn't very good from what I heard. They've done a lot. They've done a lot, and if you see the THQ label on a lot of the more recent games, chances are it's actually a re-release of an older game. And I'm actually hoping that they still go back and re-release some of these old games because some of them are definitely going to be lost to time otherwise. But with that said, it is unfortunate what's happening with Embracer Group. So maybe not. Next up, we have Just Cause 2. Yeah, this is interesting because let's see here. It's published by Square Enix of all companies, and I think it's developed by Eidos and Avalanche Studios. I don't know what's going on with yeah, if I understand correctly, I think Embracer Group bought these Eidos. I'm not sure what happened with Avalanche Studios. I think they're owned by Disney, or am I thinking a different studio? I can't remember. But yeah, Just Cause 2. This is one of the earlier Just Cause games. This was before, yeah, this was before Square Enix sold off Eidos to Embracer Group. So I think Embracer Group now technically owns Just Cause. I gotta look this up. But we're at Just Cause 4 now, and I heard that game didn't do as well as it should have, so that's why Square Enix decided to no longer make Just Cause games. Oh yeah, and this one. Okay. Oh yeah. Eidos did get yeah, I was right. Eidos did get sold off to Embracer. So Eidos Montreal, they developed Deus Ex: Human Revolution, published by Square Enix before it was sold off. Unfortunately, the franchise is basically has been abandoned now because they had one game that was in development but got canceled because Embracer Group were having financial problems. So this is another backwards compatible title. I have yet to play Deus Ex, but I heard it's good. So hopefully it is. Oh right, this one even comes with a manual. I hope at the very least they just re-release some of these games, even if the franchises are dormant. But again, we'll see. Embracer Group's has been losing so much staff recently because of a failed business deal with Saudi Arabia worth $2 billion, and it's always the employees that suffer the most, sadly. Next up, we have Battlefield 3 Premium Edition. This one comes with all the expansions, but unfortunately, the expansions code has already been used. Sadly, yeah, it's already used, so I didn't even get it. Sadly, yeah, which kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping that the code would work because you can already play this game through Game Pass Ultimate, and the game itself, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a bit rough around the edges here and there, but yeah, it's still a pretty good game. Definitely one of the better Battlefield games, especially compared to 2042 that doesn't have a campaign. But yeah, Battlefield 3, pretty good game. Next up, we have Prince of Persia. I think this might have been a reboot. I'm not too sure. I think this maybe was the first reboot they attempted. Yeah. This was published in I think 2008. So we have the disc here. We got the manual, which is nice. I don't have much I don't know what to say about Prince of Persia other than it was basically the precursor to the Assassin's Creed games, and of course, ever since Assassin's Creed kind of took over, they kind of just left Prince of Persia abandoned. I know that they are doing a Sands of Time remake. They actually announced it a while ago, but then they found that a lot of people didn't like how the remake looks, so they actually went back and redid literally everything. So that it looks better now, but only time will tell. We did have the Lost Crowns earlier this year, which I heard was actually pretty good, but did not sell well, sadly, by Ubisoft standards, which is rather unfortunate. Which is a running theme with Ubisoft these days, sadly. Anything that isn't Assassin's Creed has not been selling well. So the recent Mario plus Rabbids sequel, that one did not do well as Ubisoft hoped. It's constantly on sale, by the way. Um, oh yeah, Immortals Phoenix Rising, that one did not do well. That so much so they canceled the sequel. Starlink Battle for Atlas, the crossover, that game that had the Star Fox crossover, that did not do well at all, and which I'm not too surprised by. Overall, Ubisoft just hasn't been doing well, sadly. But and they actually fought off a hostile takeover not too long ago. But who knows? Maybe they'll actually go through with that takeover after all, because they're just not doing that well. But that's probably going to be a bad thing, because as we've seen with all the mergers recently, it also means that they lay off a lot of people. Okay, next one. This one's actually becoming a rare game now, because this one got delisted recently. So you can no longer get this game unless it's on disc. It is Spec Ops: The Line. I heard this one's a bit of a hidden gem, and for the most part, I thought it was okay. It was a decent game. It's basically a slightly worse version of Gears of War, though, because you can't dodge roll, which really sucks because it makes movement feel very clunky. But yeah, Spec Ops: The Line. It's a pretty decent game. I would at least encourage you to at least try it if you can. Again, it has been unfortunately delisted, but thankfully for me, I got, not only do I have the Xbox 360 version, but I also have the game on PC, which I got for free like years ago. And I also have, I think I have it, yeah, I have it also, I believe, through, I think I have it through Games with Gold. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's a good game. At least if you have ever get the opportunity to try it, because again, you can, this is one of those games that you can no longer get. Last game, unfortunately, I did not test this when I bought it, so unfortunately, when I did eventually try it, I quickly realized it didn't work. So this is Ninja Gaiden 3, just the base game, not Razor's Edge, which is the updated version, as well as the version included in the Masters Collection that was recently done. This is actually a case. You see, this is actually a case where the updated version is better than the base version, because when it came to the first two Ninja Gaiden games on Xbox and Xbox 360, the updated versions were often done by a different developer, and as a result, they made some changes to the gameplay that go against the original vision of the game, or or some fans consider to be worse than the original version of the game. So, basically, if you're gonna play Ninja Gaiden, I'm told that the best version to play it is not necessarily the updated versions, especially in the Masters Collection. It's actually the original versions on Xbox 360. Although, at least the first two games, anyways. The third game, yeah, get it through the Masters Collection, I suppose. So I also printed out this copy. So yeah. I think at the time I got this, I didn't have an Xbox 360 to test it on. I can't remember. It's been a while now, but basically this disc does not work at all. Like I actually went so far to actually trying to install it onto my Xbox 360 system, and it actually got stuck around 93%. It just won't install on the system, sadly. So this disc, much like my TMNT disc, is basically a dud. Not that it should matter that much, anyways. I'll probably go, if I'm gonna play the third game, I'll probably go play Razor's Edge or something like that. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. I mean, I suppose there's a couple other digital games that I have on my Xbox 360 that I could show off. Okay, so I have a handful of other games to show off here. So I have here three Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible on my Xbox One. The first being Aegis Wing. Now, the only way to get this game is by actually owning an Xbox 360 and purchasing it from there. Because while the game is actually free, you have to go onto your Xbox 360 and purchase it from there. Because otherwise, you won't be able to get it. I've tried to get it through the Xbox One store. You cannot get it that way. And while I'm at it, there's actually a couple of other games that you can't get through the Xbox One store or DLC. Um, yeah, the one that yeah, it's the Casino Night DLC for Sonic Generations. You cannot get that unless you have an Xbox 360. It's weird like that. I don't know the exact reason for why it has to be like that, but unless you have the Xbox 360, you cannot get Aegis Wing or the DLC for Sonic Generations. But anyways, moving on, we have The Walking Dead Season 2. Yeah, this one's free, and like, okay, well, much like a lot of the other Telltale games or episodic releases, and their episodic releases, sorry, any other game that has episodic releases, the first episode is usually made for free to entice you. But in the case of The Walking Dead, not only is the first season free, but the third and fourth season are free. I don't know what the logic behind that is, but for now, you can get the first, third, and fourth episode of season 2 for free on at least the Xbox 360 version, which is backwards compatible on an Xbox One. It's weird. Yes. Next up, we have finally for the last backwards compatible title, Doritos Crash Course. Yeah, apparently Doritos made this game, or commissioned this game. I don't know the reason, but yeah, Doritos. It's weird, but um, it's it's free on the Xbox 360 store, along with these two. So get them while you can, because chances are you might not be able to get it after July. Okay. As it turns out, I actually have quite a number of other games to show off here. So I don't have access to my Xbox 360 right now. So I'm just gonna, or more specifically, I can't show it on my Xbox 360. So I have a list here. So I have, I actually got quite a number of the first episodes of various episodic releases. So I got Batman Telltale Episode 1, Minecraft Story Mode Episode 1, which is still up for some reason. Yeah, you can still, even that game got delisted a while ago, but you can still get the first episode for free. Tales from the Borderlands Episode 1, that one actually got delisted and then relisted, I think. Or it got a remaster and had everything on the disc. Resident Evil Revelations 2, my mistake. Yeah, that one gave you the first episode for free. Although, honestly, you might as well just get the disc version or whatever. Crimson Alliance, Life is Strange Episode 1, Totem Ball, Pinball FX, although that's one of those games where you have to pay to actually use anything. King's Quest Chapter 1 and the Epilogue. Game of Thrones Telltale Episode 1. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 Episode 1, which, yeah, that one got delisted, so get it if you can. And then finally, the Episode 1 of Walking Dead Michonne. Oh, and you also have these games. Frozen Freefall, Mars Rover Landing, and Connect Party. Yeah. I think there's at least one more, I can't remember, but that one requires like this Xbox 360 peripheral. Okay, it was actually Totem Ball that required the peripheral. So this game, Totem Ball, you can't even play it unless you have that specific camera. But yeah, that's basically it. I actually have two more games. I promise this is actually the final two. I have a disc copy here of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Yeah, one of the worst Sonic games ever made, and one of the worst video games ever made, and yet it still sold well to get like a platinum hits label. Depending on who you ask, some people actually like it. I mean, I actually went through the whole game recently, And yeah, it's like there's elements of a good Sonic game here. It's just that a, so ma- it feels so rushed. It doesn't. It feels like you can. It feels like the ambition is there, but in terms of putting it together, it feels like a first draft or something like that. It's also worth mentioning that the DLC for this game, yes, this game actually got DLC, will no longer be available after July. So if you intend on playing this game, or I guess for whatever reason you want the DLC, get it while you can because it's not available after July. And it's the only version of the game that has all the DLC. The PS3 version of the game, I can't seem to get the DLC anymore, and you also don't have the Team Attack Amigo DLC or the bosses or the ones that the DLC that includes the boss fights. Anyways, the final game, Spider-Man 3 movie. Yeah, I have Spider-Man 1 movie on Xbox and Spider-Man 3 movie on Xbox 360. So yeah, this is a tie-in game for the third Spider-Man movie, and yeah, not much to say here. This game has been delisted, so get it while you can. I got this for $5, which is an amazing deal. Wish I had the box art, but whatever. But yeah, it's another movie tie-in game. Not too bad, I guess, but definitely not. From what I heard, it's not as good as Spider-Man 2, though. Sadly, but oh well. I'm definitely going to be trying to get all the Spider-Man, as many Spider-Man games I can get on the sixth and seventh generation of consoles, especially since they've been delisted now, and I want to see how differently the Spider-Man games of then play compared to now. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. If you stuck around, uh, as always, thank you guys so much. Um, like, comment, and subscribe as always, and take care.